What are the things nobody taught you about sex when you were in high school but should definitely be taught? That the way people have sex in porn is usually not normal, not enjoyable, and not going to get any woman to orgasm. Too many men out there think doing 20 positions for 20 seconds each is great sex. Miscarriages are way more common than most think. Also, what an ectopic pregnancy is. Pee after sex. It's okay to need lube. What vaginismus is. Spelling. In my school, they taught that condoms don't prevent STDs at all, which is a lie. Beyond the stuff listed here, the UTIs, STDs, foreplay. How about some things for the guys new to the game about to dive into the fun? Nobody will ever make fun of you, or think anything but good for them. When you buy condoms, condoms are cheaper than diapers. Steak dinners are cheaper than kids. Experiment by yourself with the types. Some types. They get warm on my cock. They pull so tight they kill my boner. Or cut off circulation. I have my personal favorite I know to get. Because they work perfectly for me. Give me great sensation through the condom. And don't act like a rubber band that you used to get bored and wrap around your finger 20 times in class. While you're experimenting at home seeing which condom feels best for you, learn how to put one on easily. You weren't born knowing how to throw a football or dribble a basketball. Took an afternoon to learn. Same thing with ripping open a condom wrapper in the moment. And sliding it on while you're still lip-locked with the girl. Pinch the tip. Roll it down. Give it a warming stroke or 3. You think I'm joking about the warming. Room temperature condoms are pretty cold at first grab, but it warms up fast. Trim your nails. Give them a once-over with the file on the nail clippers too. Freshly trimmed nails with that sharp edge are even worse than a slightly long nail. Those little areas to the side of the nail, where the skin hardens up, give those a buff too. While you're buying condoms, buy an emery board from over in the makeup department. Nothing kills the mood more than your girl saying stop. Because you're dragging a cheese grater inside her most sensitive flesh. Pay attention. Seriously. This will get you everywhere. Over and over. Instead of just going sweet tits and grabbing her nipples while thinking to yourself about them, or what you're going to do with them. Pay attention to how she reacts when you do grab, squeeze, stroke, pull, whatever. You will run into the entire spectrum. From girls who don't get any real arousal going from someone playing with their tits, all the way to girls who can literally orgasm from someone working with their nipples. But you'll never know if you don't pay attention. Don't try to like a porno. I once heard Ron Jeremy long ago say in an interview, if it looks good, it feels like shit to us doing it. When it feels good, it looks like shit on a camera. I then stopped trying to get the camera angle doggy bullshit, and go with whatever got us both going. And yeah, you're never going to film sex that feels good. This why the amateur category on porn sites looks like two people in a sleeping bag when a couple decides to put a camera on a tripod and film themselves. They are having a damn good time, feeling damn good, and it looks like shit from across the room. This also goes for oral. Don't try to jackhammer facefuck her, grab her head, hold her down on your dick, any of that shit. Hold her hair back for her, and don't push her around. She'll let you know if she wants your hands pushing on her head. Trust me. Foreplay makes all the difference. Don't rush that shit if you care about your partner climaxing. And don't let porn videos be your guide. Ask your partner what they like and do that thing. Tell your partner what you like. Communication is key for good sex. Why make me pick the lock when I can just ask for the combination? Most women don't want to get jackhammered and spit on like those dudes do in porn. Foreplay is important, particularly on the woman's part. As I was not aware being wet was important. The girl I was with at the time didn't know either, and our first time doing it sucked. Literally everything. They never taught us about actual sex. Sex ed was basically puberty ed with a dash of always wear a condom or you'll catch all these STDs, get pregnant, and die. Never once did they explain what a condom was or how it was used. I had to Google to find out that the penis actually goes inside the vagina. It's way messier than portrayed on TV. But like less messy than comments like these would make people believe. Think of like packing for the beach and trying to deal with that leaky bottle of suntan oil. It gets on your hands, and then you try and rub that on your legs or something, and now those are shiny with the stuff but your hands are still oily still. And I guess if lube enters the picture, it's kinda like the full cream sunscreen and you're lying in bed trying to manage the decent amount of the sunscreen on you and you don't want it getting all over your sheets. And then there's the squatting with sunscreen lotion leaking down between her legs as she tries to get to the toilet before it dribbles all the way down and stains everything. And then there's the fact that the man is trying to take off a glove covered with sunscreen on the outside and a worse sunscreen on the inside, and wherever you set it down will smell like sunscreen, and grandma is trying to apply all the sunscreen and you have to chase her out, but the dog's got the scent now. He's not leaving the room because he knows what goes down when that smell is in the air. And there was a small addition of unwanted coloration because you hadn't been watching her calendar all that closely, and what was supposed to be colorless is now spreading unsightly stains, and the bedsheets are crinkling. They crinkle now when you bend them because they're positively ruined with the stuff, and she wanted water after the fact and the water bottle has spilled and it's mingling with the sweat. There was so much sweat and the suncream and the bedsheets, and it was lube. It was Vaseline, and that slick unyielding petroleum jelly won't let you go. It's got you now and it's taking you in. The bedsheets mottling and sticking together as they encase you. You're struggling but the air is running out. The sheets are pulling tighter and tighter until you feel kinship with the pharaohs of old as you're dragged deeper still and you realize it's all lost. Everything was for nothing because this is finally it after all those years. This is how you go. In the end. Some STIs, herpes and some HPV strains can be transmitted through skin-to-skin contact even if you use a condom. These STIs are very common and aren't tested for by doctors unless you specifically ask. If you're too uncomfortable to ask him to wear a condom or have a conversation about birth control, then you're not ready to have sex with this person. I knew some girls in high school who got pregnant because they didn't want to seem uncool to talk about it, or they were too shy to speak up before having sex. Pussy farts happen. Do not be alarmed. If queefs aren't funny, you are with the wrong person. It was a while ago for me. That condoms can break. How to tell when a woman is physically ready for intercourse. When is someone legally unable to give consent? What is sufficient consent to have penetrative sex? How does a woman's menstrual cycle work? What should you do if you are scared you might be pregnant? When is someone legally unable to give consent? To add to this, when does consent no longer become consent? As a young man a decade and a half ago, there was a moment where I and a gal pal were getting it on. In the middle of it, she flat out told me she didn't want to be having sex anymore, and I promptly stopped. I'm thankful for that moment and how upfront she was about it. However, I have also had another experience where a woman and I had consensual sex and days later was running around telling people I raped her. Thank God no one took her serious. But if that had happened in today's world, shit is going to trial. They never taught us to pee after sex. Although, I always heard and read that you should, but for some reason I didn't think that you had to immediately pee after the sex sesh. Well, I've sure learned my lesson. I ended up getting a ooty for the first time, but I didn't even know because it was asymptomatic. No pain. Just thought I was dehydrated because I wasn't passing much. Halfway through my night shift at work one night I went to the bathroom and immediately recognized something was wrong, and I started getting pain on my right side. Ended up leaving work and drove myself to hospital at around 10 p.m. Admitted myself. Got tested and yep, I had a kidney infection. They pumped me full of hardcore antibiotics and hooked me up to fluids. Stayed there for a good few hours. Went home and the next day started an antibiotic course for about 2 weeks. Was definitely a little scared. Ejaculation. Telling us that the penis goes in vagina and sperm comes out isn't enough. For years I thought there was a constant piss stream of sperm when you entered. My high school had a great sex education class when I was a sophomore. They taught it all including abstinence. Only one person, a Jehovah's Witness, did not take the class. Out of 625 sophomores, no pregnancies in the 3 years of high school. The class also covered drugs and alcohol usage and pitfalls in class. First class without a drug or alcohol death. Go pee after sex. Each and every time. Vitally important for women. Discussing what you enjoy and what you don't with your partner isn't awkward or weird. Also, you may not be compatible sexually with everyone, and that's okay. Before you text or call your ex, rub one out and then rethink. What are things nobody taught you about sex when you were in high school? All of it. Mississippi gang _H. Went to a Catholic school and we never got any sex education. I never knew about female orgasm with my first boyfriend together for more than a year. When I had my very first one with my next boyfriend, I thought I had a heart attack that I actually wanted him to call an ambulance. For those asking, yes, I stuck with this guy for 5 years because the sex was intense. He was a real pleaser and a giver. Lesson for you guys. We eventually split up cause, well, sex isn't everything, but he left me with new knowledge and skills I could use with my next partner, so you can say experience is really the best sex ed out there. Only lick a pussy you know.